Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with another edition of Trooper Talk with Trooper Wellman. Trooper Wellman, before we got on the air, I mean, so many things are happening this week. We didn't even talk about the wrong way driver that happened on Sunday and what happened today, but we'll get to that, I'm sure, here today. All right, look at this.
Yep.
What do we have here? Look at this.
So
this is very exciting.
This is Academy 98. Our Northern Command, they just graduated last week, and this is consisted of highway patrol and parole and probation. So all of these individuals will be starting field training and hitting the road shortly. So
And so so now they're a trooper, or right?
Correct.
And so how long before they actually go out on the road or go to their new positions and stuff like that?
So to dissect it a little bit, so if you are going to highway patrol, your now title is trooper. If you're going to parole and probation, your title is officer. They finished their academy, so now they are sworn peace officers in the state of Nevada.
Okay.
So we call it post certified. So they got post certified. Now they need to learn how to be actually do it. And so they'll go through field training and an advanced academy where they'll learn how to diagram and do accident reconstruction and amongst other things. That's about 6 weeks for their advanced academy. And then after that, they will start field training, which consists of 6 months where they'll ride double with a field training officer.
Wow.
And they'll have at least 4 different field training officers throughout their training process. That way they can learn different techniques and styles and make sure they're ready to go. The way we because I'm a field training officer here as well, the way we have it structured is, phase A, your first phase, you're only expected to know 25% of the job. That's where your field training officer is required to start teaching you paperwork, your orientation, the way the radio works. We're kind of spoon feeding you on that phase. Phase B, you're required to know 50% of the job. Phase C, 75%, and by phase D, that's your last phase, your field training officer will actually wear plain clothes in the vehicle because we're almost not there. We're only there to observe, make sure that you're not doing anything wrong. You're even supposed to phone a friend, use your resources because we're not technically there. It's just for safety precautions because now we expect you to almost be able to function and do the 100% of the job. And then once you finish phase D, then you get the blessing and you're good to go on your own. So that's how our field training process works.
Wow. So it's still after this, it's still a good 6 months.
Yes.
Wow.
Before they're solo on their own, get the take-home cars, all that, yeah.
And they look the same, but the difference between parole and probation was they wear the hat, right?
Yeah, the smoky, yep.
Oh, there they are.
Yep.
Love it.
So for joining forces this month, which is April, I believe it was April 2nd through the end of the month. It's pretty much the month of April. Excuse me. Multiple police agencies are joining forces to enforce speed. That's their main focus this month, to slow drivers down. I know I say it every time, but our top 2 leading causes for fatalities in Nevada are speed and impairment, and that's why it's so important for us to continuously be out there, whether it be presence or, educating the motoring public on slowing down. And unfortunately, some people will be issued citations to get that point across that they need to slow down because lives are on the line. And, our motor units, they all join together and they pick specific locations throughout the week and they go out there and they enforce it. And a lot of these locations come from our community members. Our community members write to us, contact our agencies, 311, and it's basically like a comment card. And they let us know the areas that they would like us to see, they would like to see us in to, slow people down.
It's tremendous. And I will tell you, so this weekend, I had a situation, and I texted you. I say that, what do people watch when they're driving the car? And so the answer is, most people have on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Most cars today have a navigation and a radio. And so I was forced with a situation this weekend that I had to call Star NHP because there was a wrong way driver as I was coming down on the, so I remember exactly, I was on the 95 and I got onto the 15 on the right-hand side before you could actually get onto the main 15. And it was right before Charleston, and there was a car that was facing me, and it was turning around. And so the problem was when I called Star NHP, the nice young lady said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm on the 95 and I just passed Charleston." And she said, "That doesn't make sense." I said, "Well," then she goes, I said, "Maybe I got off the 215 and maybe I'm on the 15. She said, no, you're on the 15. Like, she knew where I was, and she was very calm. Okay? But the problem was that by the time I'm driving and I'm 70 miles down the road and I'm calling about something that's 3 miles back of me, and I'm looking at my radio, and the radio's on, and I'm trying to hit the navigation, and I'm on the phone with her, and I'm driving, it's too much.
It is.
And so, like, you're all done. And so, anyway, when I texted, and, like, this person got away.
Yeah.
And so, all I know is I saw a car that was red, that was 4 doors, that had no front end. And it was totally smashed in.
Yeah.
And so, I say people should drive with the navigation on.
So, obviously as law enforcement, we train constantly. Part of our field training process is you have to know where you're at all times. I know personally as a FTO, a field training officer, some of my tactics I do is I'll be driving with the trainee, and then all of a sudden I'll yell out, "Where we at, where we at, where we at?" Or shots fired, where we at? And you just try to get their heart rate going, and then they have to focus for a second and see where they're at, or already know where they're at. And we do that so that you're constantly paying attention, Charleston, Sahara, Spring Mountain, or you're saying in your mind, if I had to call something out right now, where am I? 15 Spring Mountain, southbound, south of. 15 Spring Mountain, southbound, south of. Or now I'm approaching Flamingo. You play it constantly in your head, so that way it's muscle memory, and you don't even think about it as you're driving. So that way, if something does pop off real quick, a crash happens right in front of you, or someone runs across the highway or something, and you have to react, you know where you're at, or at least you have a ballpark of where you're at. Because sometimes when you're looking around, you might not see that overpass or that freeway. And yes, a majority of us use navigation, but it's better to just constantly know where you're at. But the average person driving is not sitting there focused on where am I at. Especially you on a Sunday, you're just cruising. You're actually just enjoying your drive.
Yeah.
So it happens, and that's totally realistic of what people feel constantly when they call us. And that's where our job and our dispatcher's job is to try to calm you down and work through it and explain where you're at. Do you see something? Do you see a landmark? What hotel are you by? And then we start figuring it out. And while she's doing that with you, she's typing to the troopers reports of a wrong way, possibly 15 Charleston, possibly 95 Charleston. And you're not the only one probably calling it in, so somebody else is calling in. And if now we have 2 people saying 95 Charleston, then they're going to be like, we have multiple people saying 95 Charleston, southbound and the northbound, or blah, 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 blah. And so now we're playing and we're trying to figure out where this is at in real time.
Yeah.
So no matter what, even if you don't know where you're at, every call helps, every call matters. We're going to dissect it and figure out where this car is. And unfortunately, that morning, when I did call our dispatchers, I think that vehicle exited at 15 Charleston possibly. And once it took surface streets, now it's technically Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's jurisdiction. Granted, we could still pursue and follow and go down there, but we don't know for sure if they didn't locate the vehicle maybe at a later time that day. But at that moment, I did check with Metro, and they hadn't stopped that. They didn't have any traffic stops in that area or crashes. So we may never know, but I do appreciate the effort you made in calling us, because I always tell you, we can't be everywhere at all times. And so everything you guys see, say something. Thank you so much, 911, Star NHP. Every little bit helps.
It was very scary. Like it was really scary, because I'm and he was facing me. Like he was facing me, and then he reversed and then went this way and pulled off to the side of the road, and I saw the car smoking.
And you just play every scenario we talk about in your mind at that moment of, the reality of what could happen.
Yeah.
You know that person is maybe not of sound mind at that moment,
Yeah.
and you don't know if they're going to come, even if they're going right way, if they're just going to randomly hit you or crash into your car, or you just never know. And I'm sure all those emotions were going through your mind at that time.
Yeah. And like I said, and like I texted you, I didn't know what to do, but like I figured, I'm not risking my life,
Absolutely not.
unfortunately, to pull over on the side of the road on freeway where people are buzzing past me at 100 miles an hour, and to go. And so
That's not your
It was
norm.
very difficult, but I will tell you that I don't know. It was very scary for me.
The first thing and the foremost thing I will tell anybody is get yourself to safety, whether that be exit the freeway and then call 911, or if you do feel comfortable to pull to the shoulder and activate your hazard lights and then call 911. So if you want, exit the highway and then contact 911, star NHP, just like you did, and collect yourself for a second, and let them know what you saw. But it's okay. And sometimes you can't get to the phone right away. You can't exit the highway right away, especially if you're transitioning to a new freeway. You just do what you can and just know it's appreciated that you did call.
The dispatcher was fantastic. I don't know who it was.
That's good.
But she was fantastic. And like, in your moment of like, she was right there.
Good, good.
Uh,
Isn't that such a good photo on the left?
yes.
So this is Major Jackson, Tamara Jackson, and she was just newly promoted to Major up at our Northern Command. So this is our Reno NHP. And Major Jackson actually worked down south with us for a while, so I had the privilege of getting to know her. And she's awesome, just totally leads from the front. And she's the kind of leader that, prime example, this run. She would never ask you to do something she wouldn't do herself. And I respected that a lot with her. And do you know who this little girl is, Teresa?
I've seen her at the car shows and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right?
So what Teresa does, she's done it from a young age. I think like 4 or 5 years old.
She runs on behalf of people, right?
On behalf of the fallen canine officers nationwide. So anytime a canine officer passes or gets injured, she'll run a mile or 3 miles in their honor. And she carries the flag and the canine flag, and then she presents it to you after she completes it. So one year, so I've had the privilege of meeting Teresa a couple times because she does a lot of events. They live here in Las Vegas. Her and her father go to a lot of the police events, and she always comes by the offices. She's a super sweet little girl. And when one of our canine dogs passed away up north, we actually ran in honor of the dog down south. Here, Travis and Sergeant Smack and myself ran with her. And let me tell you what, we ran a 5K, and I was huffing and puffing, and I was just like, this little girl's running so fast, and her legs are half like the length of mine. I don't understand what's happening. And she was carrying a flag. But after we finished, she did fantastic. After we finished, she presented me with the flag, and I was like, thank you so much. I will go throw up now. Because I was so exhausted. I had to run a 5K in a minute. But sweet little girl. Anyway, up north, they were running, I'm trying to remember what they were running for. Again, just in honor of K9, I want to say, but there was a reason. She has a social media, it's Running for Heroes. I can't remember exactly what they were running for, but it was multiple agencies came together to run in this. And I just thought it was so awesome that our Major was the only trooper running in that, and she's in full gear, and her boots, and she ran a mile. So I'm telling you, it's not easy running in boots sometimes. It's just extra weight. Your belt alone weighs 20 to 30 pounds on your hips, So
she's running with all that.
yeah. So it's just super cool. And just a great leader. So
Yeah,
we're
of
very
course.
excited and grateful to have her in that position. And I look forward to what she does up in our Northern Command.
Congratulations, right? Run a great promotion.
Yeah. And this was Women's History Month. So we just wanted to highlight her along with other women, just showing, the women in our agency that make a difference.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. Overturned tractor trailer.
I almost just laughed because literally this morning at IR-15 northbound at Northern 215, it's almost like an identical photo that I posted today. That's why I thought, I was like, wow, you guys got it up there fast. But that's wagon wheel. So this was last week.
Road.
The whole road. Yeah, this was last week. And this
So
was
you have
early
to
morning.
empty it. You have to do the whole spiel.
Yeah, remember, because if it's full, you can't just wrap the straps around and pull it forward because the side's going to fall through with whatever's inside of it.
Right.
So we have to empty it, then tip it. And with this one, I remember not only was there debris, but the fuel went everywhere. So we got diesel
Hazard
fuel
material.
everywhere that we had to clean up. And you can't just sprinkle kitty litter on that. Like, it's too much. You have to call out a hazmat team to get all that fuel off the highway. So this was closed for at least 3 hours, if not more. I don't remember an exact number, but it was a long time.
And so again, we want to highlight the fact of don't cut in front of these guys.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if that's what the cause was, but I'm just saying we need to be careful when you see the big rigs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't the time to be buzzing around and cutting in front of them and doing all
Absolutely.
these type of activities.
Yeah, the motoring public has a responsibility to please be courteous towards these tractor trailer trucks, because they're 1,000-pound object that can't stop as fast as you can. When they make their lane change, let them over. Like, they look how big they are, and they're probably transporting your Amazon goods or like
Right,
your produce and
exactly,
stuff. Like, let them
exactly.
over, right?
100%.
So just be courteous of each other, and same goes for these commercial drivers. They need to make sure that they do their actions in a timely manner. This morning's crash, very similar to this, looks just like it. That driver, I don't know if they missed the exit or they were trying to get to the exit, but they struck the impact attenuator, which is the divider between the off-ramp and the highway. When they struck it, maybe they fell asleep. I don't know. Maybe we'll know more as the investigation continues. But all I know is they struck the impact attenuator. They had failed to maintain their travel lane. When they struck it, they overcorrected, causing it to overturn. And we had traffic back up this morning, oh my goodness, from all the way IR-15 northbound at Lamb all the way to almost Tropicana. And it just has that,
Wow.
that domino effect of like everybody's affected because it just backs up because everybody's trying to exit. So
Everybody has to be courteous in today's world.
please, yes, slow down. Make sure you leave with plenty of time getting to your destination so you're not rushing.
Glad I drive one road to get to work. Let's highlight the Nevada State Police, right?
Yes, so that is our new Twitter handle. We are going to be only communicating on NV State Police now, so that way, and that's statewide. All of our information is going to come off of that Twitter page. This fatality happened on Sunday. I believe it was Sunday. And actually, Sergeant Broadcheck was on this one again. And it was, the preliminary details were a motorcycle was traveling at a high rate of speed and was traveling southbound. It's a 2-lane road on Las Vegas Boulevard down by the Magic Mountains. You know where that is?
No.
It's basically on the side of the 15 if you're headed towards California.
Oh, okay.
And it's just 2 lanes, south and northbound. The motorcycle was traveling southbound, if I'm not mistaken, and was attempting to overtake, so attempting to pass the vehicle in front of them. When they went around, it was a male adult. When the rider went around, a vehicle was coming southbound, and they actually went head on. Unfortunately, the rider did lose his life that day.
Oh, my God.
And the occupants in the other vehicle, which I want to say was a Honda, there was 3 occupants, 3 female adults, and they were all transported, but they were okay for the most part, like no life-threatening injuries. But, that motorcycle rider was out there with his friends, and they're all just cruising, just going for a ride, and that one, bad choice caused this, and it's just like you can't take it back,
Oh, my
So
God,
just
how
always
horrible.
slow down and make sure it's safe before passing, or don't pass, or just think twice before making these decisions. It was just very tragic day, very sad.
That's horrible.
A life was lost. Then they're just cruising on a weekend, it's just very, very sad.
Yeah. Oh, that's very horrible.
Yeah.
Road closures. Is this the same one? Semi-truck rollover.
Same day, within that hour, this happened. A semi-truck overturned, similar to the picture you just showed. And same thing, debris everywhere, fuel was leaking everywhere, and it was at mile marker 84. That is, I was trying to think where they were diverting people off at, but I can't remember. But basically, just
Debris, clean up the whole thing. I mean, like
ripple effect. People were just sitting there stationary for a long time.
I was having this conversation with my wife, about these people that drive around with these fake
Temporary plates.
temporary plates and the spiel, and they get in an accident, they don't have insurance, and our insurance goes up.
Yes.
And so they don't care. And somebody who goes through great lengths to put a fake one of these on their car really doesn't care.
Right. I mean, I know sometimes people are going through hard times and stuff financially, but then don't put yourself in that situation where you're driving the car. Because sometimes, if we stop out people or stop for registration, so they're like, well, I have to get to work. Like, I have to work so I can get money to pay my registration or my insurance, this and that. Well, you don't have to drive that car. You can take a bus. You can take Uber, a Lyft. You can walk. You can take a bike. You can phone a friend. You can carpool with somebody. You don't have to drive that car until you can legally drive that car. And don't put yourself in that position because, one, you're either going to get a ticket, so now you're dealing with those fines on top of trying to register your car, so you just added to it, or two, your vehicle is going to be towed, and a tow fee is between $200 to $300 a day, okay? And so until you can even get that vehicle out, you have to show that it's registered or you have a temporary tag just to get it out of the tow lot. So it's a whole nother can of worms that you're opening up. So don't even put yourself in that situation. If you have a vehicle and you can't afford to get it registered or insured just yet, keep working until you can, and then, drive the vehicle. It's just going to keep spiraling, and you're just going to get in more debt, or you're just going to struggle more. So don't even put yourself in that situation.
And I think that insurance is more money when you have bad things. Like if you keep getting DUIs, that's the reason you can't get insurance. Like if you don't get in trouble, like insurance is expensive, but it's...
Right. And if you get a moving violation on your license, not only do you get points, but your insurance goes up. So it's all a big, it's just a can of worms.
It's unbelievable. 43% of Nevada traffic deaths. We hate the impairment. Can't take it. You know what I mean? I don't even know when they're opening up those lounges, but I'm sure they're doing that by the end of the year.
Yeah. So just this morning, I text you, what was that, like 8:30?
Yeah.
8 o'clock? 8:30 a.m. Everybody's going to work around that time. People are taking their kids to school. It's our rush hour, right, for our morning commute. And we've got a vehicle going wrong way, and they ended up going head on with another vehicle. And luckily, it was not a fatality. Thank goodness. Both drivers exited their vehicle on their own. They did sustain injuries, but non-life-threatening. And we suspect impairment on that wrong way driver. And it's 8:30 in the morning. I don't understand. One, it should never happen in the first place. But two, 8:30 in the morning. And you just put hundreds, if not maybe thousands of lives at risk, including your own, because of a choice you made. And
you texted me
because I know that's your route.
Because I was going to be going on that road. Mm-hmm. And so
and
we've had that conversation that you're I don't want to overtalk, but that when you someone that's on, I can't even possibly fathom what that would do to somebody like you, because I know you on a personal level. Mm-hmm. That it's too much. How is somebody impaired at 8:30 in the morning and getting on a freeway in a car?
And we talk about, I wait to hear the description of the vehicles.
Yeah.
On the radio, my heart stops for a second until I hear the description of the vehicles, and then I started to think, okay, who do I know that drives that kind of car? Do I know that person? Do I not know that person? And you just play that whole thing in your mind, and that's why I text you, because I was like, he goes that route, and I didn't know the second vehicle yet, and then you responded, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, okay, it wasn't him. Plus, I also didn't want you to see it, because I knew you just saw a wrong way on Sunday, and I could only imagine what that was going to do to you. It was going to cause PTSD and freak you out, because you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing it every day now.
Every day.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much.
It's frustrating, right?
It's it makes my head spin.
That's why I can say it all I want. I can say it till I'm blue in the face. We have wrong way drivers in town. We need to, people need to be responsible. Stop doing this. But seeing is believing. And I think people are almost oblivious. They don't actually think it exists, or it's once every once in a while. But no, it's literally almost every single night that we get a wrong way call, and troopers are responding to these wrong way calls. And you're seeing it now, and it's just crazy, right?
And when customers come to the store, by the way, if you need the Trooper Talk mugs, you can go to troopertalk.com. I give away the mugs, and I tell people, I said, look, we need to do something. And everybody looks at me, and they go, it's too much. Every day somebody's drinking. Somebody's getting impaired. They're driving on the freeway. Every day there's a wrong way. And, we see it. We see it on the news, and it's if you want to die, jump off a bridge. Stop doing it to all these people that They have
These innocent people.
they have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and if you're having a hard time, like
Call
reach out-
someone, right?
Reach out for help. Don't get behind the wheel. It's the worst thing you could do.
Really bothers me. I saw them at the who was it that they were wearing the Zero Fatality shirt on Monday, right?
What was Monday?
When we went to the promotion ceremony.
Oh,
Because the person had a gun and a badge on too.
did they?
But they had Zero Fatalities on a black shirt,
I
like it
wonder-
was inscribed.
It might have been a parole and probation officer that if we do certain events with Zero Fatalities, we help promote. But you know who was at that ceremony was Sandy Heverly.
Yes,
so
I said hello.
yeah,
That was nice to see her. She was fantastic. We love her to death. You know what I mean?
she came to the candlelight visual too for the all the lives that were lost for our candlelight visual that we just did in honor of all the lives from Southern Nevada.
Yeah, she's fantastic. You know what I mean? And she was there showing her support. It's nice to see similar faces. You know what I mean? But I did see the Zero Fatalities and it was very cool. I was like, oh, what a cool shirt. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But Zero Fatalities does a great thing,
Amazing.
right? And so when it comes to doing things, they're out there promoting the fact that they don't want any more people to die.
Yeah, their goal is to have zero fatalities. That's their goal.
And so, we need to follow them and figure out a way to have zero fatalities. And the way to do that is to stop these people with the with the wrong way driving and the impairment, because that is the leading cause. And obviously the speed, we don't talk as much about it, but, generally speaking, the people are doing these other activities or whatever.
Yeah. It's all of it, distracted driving, speed, reckless, put your seatbelt on, impaired driving, speeding, it's the same things over and over and over. We call it our big five, but Zero Fatalities are constantly putting out discount codes for rideshare services or events that they have going on in town because they want everyone to be safe. And if you don't follow them on social media, I highly recommend you do because, again, they're always posting coupons, discount codes, because they want you to be safe. And we try to reshare them as often as we can, but sometimes I miss them. So the best thing to do is just follow them also.
Yeah. And if you can't afford the car, maybe you can just, get a Lyft code or something like that.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay, so this was super funny because I would never post a fan page, but this made me laugh so hard because the comments were fantastic. So I did an interview with one of our news stations here in town, and I said that we were doubling our staffing, but that was not just because of Taylor Swift. That was because of joining forces. We also had a grant funded for DUI impairment, along with just other things that we had. We doubled our staffing for it because people were coming in for overtime. But they ran a story, and the Swifties, the Taylor Swift fans, took it as we doubled our staffing just for the Taylor Swift concert. So, they can interpret it however they'd like, but ultimately our goal is to get everyone home safe. But on these comments, they called Taylor Swift the mother, and so they were saying thank you Highway Patrol, protect our mother at all costs. We're so grateful. Don't defund the police because we need to protect our mother. And it was just kind of comical. And hey, I appreciated it though. Yeah. And our agency appreciated it. And our goal is to keep her safe as well as all of you that were in attendance at the concert. But they were just really funny, the comments. So.
And you did the thing on the billboards a couple weeks ago, which I didn't understand.
Oh yeah, the lyrics. And that's what I'm saying. It's important to connect to your community, right?
Of course.
I mean, this was a big deal here in town. A lot of people knew about it. So why not shed some humor, shed some light, and we'll also put a safety message behind it because that is our goal, is to keep people safe. And so it's important for us to connect to our community.
Right. So mom was safe, right? The Swifties are right, can say, oh, thank goodness, right?
It seemed like everybody had a good time that night, the 2 nights she performed. So,
and she got home safe.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. I got something to talk about very quickly.
Okay.
I was given these wonderful things by the Battle-Born Guardians. And so you do so many selfless things in your life, and so you have partnered with other people to do the Battle-Born Guardians. What is that?
Battleborn Guardians is a nonprofit that was started by retired and current honor guard members that make up the Nevada State Police. We need to fundraise money to travel to funerals to honor these fallen officers nationwide, as well as the Police Memorial Week in Washington, D.C. We've had the privilege to fly or go up there twice now. We usually try to send 2 honor guard members a year, but the last 2 times, unfortunately, we had to put a name on the wall, Sergeant Ben Jenkins and then Trooper Micah May. There's talk that Officer Trooper Fontaine is possibly going to be getting his name put on the wall next year as well. He did pass from COVID complications, and so they are looking into it as a line of duty death to be put on the wall because he was a trooper during that time. We are trying to raise money to send our troopers to these funerals because we've seen firsthand the impact it has when troopers and officers from other agencies travel. I mean, when we had Sergeant Jenkins' funeral and Trooper Micah May's, people from New York, troopers from New York City were coming to the funeral, Pennsylvania, Ohio, I mean, you name it, all around the nation flew in just to represent their department at our officer's funeral, our trooper's funeral, to show respect and show that family. And they would give flags or coins and patches and let them know we were here in honor of your loved one. And we want to be able to pay it forward and do that as well. So we started the nonprofit called Battleborn Guardians, where we fundraise. We just had a cornhole tournament as a fundraiser in honor of Sergeant Ben Jenkins. His family came down from Elko. It was amazing. We're going to be doing more fundraisers throughout the year, but ultimately, if anybody wants to make a donation, you can go on battlebornguardians.com. You can make a donation through our website. If you have any questions, you can ask us there. Or majority of troopers will be able to answer your questions as well because it is our honor guard. And it's a great nonprofit that we've started, and we're looking forward to paying it forward to our fallen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the other thing, too, is if anybody wants to become a state trooper or parole and probation, right? They were all there. They're all getting promoted. That means they need more people to fill those places.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Go on NevadaStatePolice.com. We are hiring. You can talk to a recruiter, a live recruiter right then and there if you have any questions. We are statewide. So if you don't want to work in, let's say, Las Vegas or Reno and you want to work in Elko or Wales or somewhere more rural, we have those opportunities available to you, as well as you get a take-home car. That's a huge incentive. You know, we did a survey a few years back, and a take-home car is about equivalent to, you'll save you about $10,000 a year from wear and tear, oil changes, gases, and it's your time. You know, time driving to the office. You'll already be changed out at home, getting in your vehicle, starting work from your home, and, you know, ending work at your home. And so your time is your money, right? Or it depends on
100%.
what's important to you. But to me, that's a huge perk and incentive. As well as, let's say the physical fitness, you're worried about it. You know, our recruiter, Officer McClarty, as well as up north, they're willing to, you know, meet with you on a Saturday or a weekday and run through the physical fitness test with you. You know, they can jog with you. They can show you around the facility. Make sure it's a right fit for you. And they're willing to do that because we want people that want and have the passion for this profession, as well as want to work for the Nevada State Police and make a difference. If you want to see firsthand what it's like to be a state trooper or a parole and probation officer, you can come do a ride-along with any one of us. You can do a graveyard, swing shift, or a day shift ride-along. All you need to do is just come down to one of our stations. Our most common one here in Las Vegas is Decatur and Sunset, 4615 West Sunset Road. Come on down. You can fill out a packet. Upon completion of that, we'll get you set up with a ride-along and really get to see what it's like to walk in our shoes. And, we would love to have you part of our family. So NevadaStatePolice.com. Any questions you have, we're available to answer those for you.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Do the ride-along. Come hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like talk, hang out, do all these type of things. And I think one of the things that I want to end with is the fact that they are promoting people inside to a higher rank, which means that people are getting excited. And so it's not that they're just getting promoted and they're leaving. They're actually coming from different agencies to come back. because they're so excited to be part of the family. And that's what we
Yeah.
saw this week. That, even though they left, some of them, they're here, and other ones they just keep getting promoted inside. So it's really tremendous.
Yeah.
So, Trooper Wellman, thanks so much. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you next week. Okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you later.